So he's out there swimming, and it's getting later and later. He's been asking fish after every fish, "Excuse me, have you seen my dad? Have you seen him? Have you seen my son? I'm looking for my son. He's on this boat." But nobody will help him. Nobody at all. The rest of the gang are all behind me. They're all going, "Right, we got to get you out. There's got to be a way to get you out." And they kind of put their heads to their head. "How do we get him out? How do we get you out? I heard of something once. This is risky. It may not work, but I heard of a fish from another fish that did this one. It's called flush, rush, and you're out." And he goes, "Oh, it's okay, it's okay. I'm looking for somebody too. We can look together." "Oh, thank you. You're so nice. Oh, I'm Dory. I'm Nemo. Nemo. That's a nice name." And Nemo, well, guess what? Sea turtles. I remember. And they're 150 years old. "Really?" "Yeah. The Sandy Plankton said they're 350 years old."
You wouldn't know how to get there, would you?
What you want to do is follow the EAC. It's East Australian current. Big current. Can't miss it. It's in that direction.
You wouldn't know how to get there, would you?
What you want to do is follow the EAC. It's East Australian current. Big current. Can't miss it. It's in that direction.
You wouldn't know how to get there, would you?
What you want to do is follow the EAC. It's East Australian current. Big current. Can't miss it. It's in that direction.
So this lamp of a lighthouse is an actual lighthouse that exists on Thatcher Island off of my hometown of Rockport, Massachusetts. And it's called the Twin Lights. There's one on each side of the island, and there's actually one on each side of the lobby. There's 2 lamps. This is a historical building that is in my hometown called the Motif Number 1. It's in the harbor, and a lot of people come from all around just to paint it. So I put a painting of it in the wall. This is the Aeolus 3. It's the name of my father's sailboat, and I'm embarrassed to say that it was the 11th hour when I suddenly realized I had not put that on any of the boats in the movie. So I changed one of the boats at the last second and got it in there. I think I would have been disowned had I forgotten that. Lobsters are abundant where I grew up in New England, and I know we're all the way down in Australia, but I just couldn't resist letting the lobster have a Massachusetts accent, thus using the term wicked. It's like wicked dark down there. You can't see a thing. How's it going, Bob?
You've got to make computer-generated water. One of the problems is that water is really not one thing. When you look at a scene with water in it, there's the water surface itself, and then there's spray, which is really just small, loose particles. And then there's a transition zone where if you watch a wave as it comes up, it'll come up and break into little tiny particles, little blobs that still look clear. They still look like water, and then they fragment more and turn into spray. It's the believability of that transition that's the hardest thing to do right in computer-generated water. And the reason is, when we model something with particles, the particles we use are bigger than the size of the spray drop, just because of the computational requirements. If you really wanted to do a shot like the whale tongue shot, you would really need billions of particles of water, but we can't do that. We can at most do millions. And so we have a lot of tricks that go into taking this fairly coarse-grained description of the dynamics, turning it into a surface as the surface moves around, and then cheating the transition in various ways of the surface from a solid surface of water breaking down into spray and then splashing off.
We get a shot like this out of animation, right, that has no water, just the characters sort of holding on, and the director will tell us, "Oh, I want like a whole ton of water at the beginning, and it'll sort of ramp down over the progression of the shot." And so the first thing we do is we start out with these things that got dubbed ball pit renders, because it looks like, a big Chuck E. Cheese ball pit. Problem is, sometimes the water doesn't do what you want, right? And so we showed this to the director, and he's like, "Well, I don't think he could talk, if he was under that much water." And then once we get something that we're happy with at this ball pit level, then we'll go and we'll actually try to form a mesh out of it. This sort of takes all the particles, and then where there's a lot of particles, or where it really should be a solid mass of water, it gives us the solid surface that we can use. And then everywhere else, you get these particles. And we're pretty happy with how this looks. It's out of his face now, so you can actually read his facial expressions. And then it'll go to shading and lighting. It'll do this like fancy sort of transparency, and then we'll, actually make it look like water. And then that's sort of what you end up seeing.
A lot of people don't realize that seagulls actually speak in other languages than English. Mine. Meow. Meow. Mine. Meow. Moving on. Me. More.
Nigel. He's a pelican, this guy. And figuring out how to make this guy fly is a mechanical thing, because we're looking at these live action clips to see, well, how does the real bird fly? And then you want to plus the mechanics, and you want to put in some character. You want to say, well, what is this character all about? Well, pelicans by nature are very kind of awkward creatures. They're incredible, but they're very awkward in the way they move, and they're very kind of gangly. So I thought, well, what if I put some overlap into this thing and really make it a little more cartoony? You kind of come from the mechanics, and then you take caricature and acting, and you put all of that stuff together, and that's where the end performance really comes from.
At Pixar, it is a tremendous collaboration in making these films. We have such amazing artists working together to do these films. We couldn't do it any other way. Unfortunately, this past year, we lost one of our greatest collaborators. He's a great animator, a great friend, and a fantastic family man. His name was McQueen. He was the heart and soul of our animation department. We thought we'd cut together a little bit of Glenn for you to see, to see what a great guy he was. Glenn is not gone from us. He's still alive in all of us. So here's Glenn McQueen.
Every film that gets released, I think of it as it's like you're planning a surprise party for the world, because no one else knows what you got here, but you've been like, oh, you're gonna I can't tell you, I can't tell you, wait a minute, I can't tell you about that either. And then, whenever November 12th comes along, or 17th, there you go.
You don't think I've offended the Warriors, do you?
You? No.
No. Oh, good. Because, you see, when you first brought them here, I thought you'd hired a bunch of clowns.
You did? You did? Lightning in a bottle. You had just the right kind of people who had the right kind of skills at the right time. Oh, it was surreal. It was like being in this awesome Hollywood dream. That's probably the most valuable thing that I've gotten from working at Pixar, forgetting about, professional, being able to work on great films and whatnot, is making all kinds of friends.
Elegance, style, form, function. The Aquascum 2003. Clean tank living. The Aquascum 2003 is hermetically sealed dual-phase motor technology. Is not for use as air conditioner, pump, tire pump, full sweep water purifier, or laser pointer. Not approved for freshwater fish. The AS2K3 contains a class 3 laser. Warning, laser beams may cause permanent eye damage. Filter canisters contain ammonium nitrate, may cause ichthyological diarrhea, seal wart, cankers, fish gout, and or bloatation. One additional canister filter supplied in EAG-compliant areas if purchased on third Sunday of the month. Free keychain on purchase of 2 or more participating fish or remnants.